Excuse me. Here comes the show, everybody. I hope you enjoy the show. It starts in 3. Hold on. I'm on the wrong tab. There we go. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, hey everybody, this is Richard Hatch from Battlestar Galactica, classic and reimagined, and you're listening to The Morning Stream!
Oh, gut, you bellied a brisket.
This is The Morning Stream asking, do dogs have brains? Because I really want to know.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to TMS. It's Thursday, February 16th, 2023. I'm Scott Johnson. That's Brian Ibbett. Hi, Brian.
Here in Center Square, it's Brian Ibbett.
Yeah, look, if you're a patron, you would have heard us talk a bunch about Hollywood Squares and what it would take to make a new one. And don't you wish you could be in that conversation? So be a patron.
I do.
And you can be in there and you can talk. You can hear us talk about that. It's exciting stuff.
There you go. Make it happen with all Frog Pants stars. How fun would that be?
Oh, my gosh. Imagine. Just imagine.
Yes.
Anyway, hey, it's nice to see you all. Hope you're all well. Yesterday I kind of made not an error, but people wanted an update on Rainer's condition. Mm-hmm. And I did it in the pre-show, so a lot of people didn't hear about what was going on. She was in surgery when we did the show yesterday, so that had started around 8, and then or 9, I guess. Anyway, she got home late afternoon, about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Here's a picture, chat room of her current state. She's all shaved up on the leg where the tumor was, and she looks very sad in her stupid cone. Anyway, she kind of whined all night, did not have the best night's sleep. She's in some pain. She's on these meds that will help with that and stuff, but she just hates the cone, and she can't stand being, trapped like this a little bit. But she's okay, and the good news is the blood work came back and showed no spread of cancer to the blood, which is common with this kind of cancer, and that didn't happen. And also, they think it was isolated to the tumor. They sent the tumor to the lab for to double check and just make sure. I don't know what it actually tells them, but they'll tell us today or tomorrow what that means. And her panel came back clean. What else was theirs? They did. Oh, no thyroid stuff. Like, they had a few other fears that they thought were tied to this. Okay. And so far, it looks like it might just be the tumor, and we're done.
Wow.
So
that'd be amazing. If they get good margins, then that's the deal, right? Like, if they get good margins around the tumor and they can see that there's non-cancerous cells around in the +4 pixel padding around the tumor, then,
the bleed area, is that what we're talking
about? The bleed,
exactly.
Yes. Like, we could do this as HTML, we could do it as CSS, we could do it as print. We know the colors that we paint in.
Yeah, give me your CYMK, we'll get it all taken care of at the end.
Exactly.
But yeah, she's good, and other than her being just kind of sad and miserable from it, she's she's in good shape. So anyway, thanks everybody for all your nice thoughts. It was very, very expensive.
Yeah, I'm sure that kind of stuff is ain't cheap.
Oh, I feel like I don't know. Maybe I need a lift now. It's time to lift. Because
I'll send you my my details. I'll refer you.
Oh, we'll do a referral. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually because I went for so long without a car, and I figured out there's so much stuff that I walk to and that I can get away with, and I've actually been looking at Turo, which is basically you become a rental car company, right?
Oh,
so you rent out your car to people coming to town.
They actually take the car like an Airbnb, but a car.
Exactly, it's like Airbnb with cars. And I gave a guy a lift the other day, and he basically picked him up from the airport, and all he was carrying was the thing you put in the back of the car that you pull over to create shade. I guess just call it a cargo shade cover thing, whatever.
Sure. No.
And I said, "Boy, you travel light." A little joke, and he's like, "Oh yeah, no, I just dropped off a car for a I do Turo." And I dropped off a car for a client or customer, and now you're just giving me a ride back to my house. And the whole ride we're talking about, like he's explaining, he started out with one car, his own car, because he worked from home and he didn't use the car as much anymore. And the money he made on that, he now has 3 Teslas that he rents out, and a Dodge Charger or something like that.
Wow,
And
he's turned
and
it
he
into
started,
a little
he started
business.
doing it in freaking October, and he's already started making enough to do that.
That's wild to me.
Yes.
I guess if you go all in like that, then it makes sense. Like if it's your only car, and you know, I mean, there's some risks there, right? But if you have a plan like that,
you have a plan. And what's cool about it is, like, you know, you basically put your car up there, and then somebody says, "Oh, I'd like to rent your car.
Yeah.
Here are the dates," and you get to approve or deny it before they complete the purchase. So basically, it's you're saying, "Oh, you know, it turns out I actually might need it Wednesday, so I'm going to say no, sorry, or whatever." So you know, it's not like they're going to rent it out from underneath you and like, "Oh crap, now I need a car to do blah blah blah."
right, you got to schedule it or whatever. So do
yeah.
you? Okay, so you have to take it to them. It sounds like the guy had to take the car.
Not
to
always.
them.
Like
Okay.
I've looked. This is crazy. So he does that. Well, basically, they pay to have him do that, right? So if you
Right.
want to rent the car, great, it's this amount. But then you have to get from the airport to my house. Now, for $120, I'll deliver it to the airport so that it's waiting for you when you arrive.
Oh.
And
Okay.
and for me, that's a really easy light rail ride because I can drive the car out there, turn the keys over, and then take the light rail back to, you know, 2 miles from my house, basically.
So how does it work with insurance and stuff? Is that like a weird setup?
Turo actually does the insurance, and like it's some ridiculous $750,000 coverage for,
Oh my
you know,
gosh.
and they only take between 15 and 20%, 25% of what you rent it for.
This is kind of rad. I like this.
It is really rad. I know. I'm almost
Mm.
afraid to tell people because it's like, wait, I want to get in on this before a lot of people do it. But so here's the funny thing: if I get this thing going,
Yeah.
people come to Colorado. I get messages from folks who are like, "Hey, I'm coming to Colorado. What kinds of things should I, you know, check out restaurant wise or Red Rocks or that sort of thing?"
Sure.
Now they can actually rent the Covermobile.
Yeah, you can rent Brian's car to go see all that
Rent-
stuff.
Rent Brian's car. Comes complete with a USB stick in the auxiliary slot, full of covers for you
Yeah.
to listen to.
And he'll come by, and you know, you'll see him because if you pay the amount to have it delivered, you'll have him there.
Exactly. Yes. It's like
Oh,
meet and
man.
greet. Well, we won't have a drink because I don't want you to drink before you drive my car.
No, only Brian gets to do that, you guys.
Exactly, because I'm taking the light rail, people, so I get to drink. You get to have a nice iced tea, but I'll pay for it.
That's great. That's actually very. I didn't know about these guys. This Turo thing's new to me. That's cool.
It's really cool because it came up like a lot of cars, rental car places were massively expensive during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Car demand was high. Rental car companies had to sell off their stock, so the cars that they did keep went, $200 a day rental.
Yeah.
And so the ride share model just kind of extended over into rental cars and like kind of worked.
That's kind of
really
cool. That must
Yeah.
make Hertz and everybody a little nervous. It could disrupt their business the way that
It could.
taxi stuff got
Yeah.
disrupted by Lyft
Yeah.
and Uber. Yeah.
For sure. And if you're saying, you know, I kind of want a Tesla, but I don't want to go to a dealership and have to deal with all that stuff. I know I'll just rent a Tesla for a day from somebody on Turo,
Yeah.
and then I can try it and see what I think about it. And
Yeah, you got plans anyway. You're going to rent something anyway.
Right.
Why not rent that? Then you've had a test drive and a good time and a good price. Like,
exactly. Yeah.
I assume that's the other thing. I assume the prices are comparable, at least, or less than it would cost you to get a Hertz or a freaking
Way less. Like
Avis or whatever.
yeah, like when I was doing some comparisons, somebody else has a Kia Soul, not as decked out as mine, on there for $60 a day, not including unlimited miles. I mean, you know, there's so many things that get tacked onto that. So $60 a day, and right now to get a comparable car, again, you're going to get something that's a lot newer model, newer year.
Yeah.
Is $80 to $100 a day still on like Avis and Hertz and stuff like that.
Okay. So comparable, or at the very least, you
Com-
should have that on your
comparable,
list to
maybe
check
even
out.
a lot
Yeah.
cheaper.
Yeah, it depends, I guess, where you're going. And they're probably, I can go any state and do this, probably?
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. I'm going to tell
really
Kim about
cool,
it.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
was thinking about it for Vegas, not this trip, but a couple trips ago, and then also in Anaheim, because it's like, oh, this actually might be cheaper than actually taking a lift from the airport, which seems like it's really close, but is so far away from downtown Anaheim.
Freaking sprawl in California is real, man.
It really is, yeah. It's crazy.
It's not my favorite thing in the world. Well, anyway, that's cool. I had no idea that was a thing.
Yeah,
very rad.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, I got a call to play from a listener.
Yeah, let's hear it.
This is not some AI fake call. All right, this is real. It's an actual person.
Sure. I'm questioning everything I have to know.
I know. I feel like we've set everybody up yesterday to always question where this audio is coming from, but I promise you this is just a regular old-ass call at a regular old-ass number, which is 801-471-0462. And this was sent in talking about numbers and stuff. So here you go.
Hey, Scott and Brian. It's Luke from Boulder calling for TMS. And I just wanted to let you know that I listen to a few podcasts that have like call-in lines, and I've been known to leave a voicemail or two, like I'm doing right now. But the funny thing is that somehow your default sign-off has leaking in my brain, and I've been signing off these other messages that I leave for other podcasts with the phrase, love the show, though. And that doesn't make any sense for that. But my brain just goes there. So, thank you, and you're welcome. Love the show, though.
That's awesome, dude.
Oh, it's great, because I can imagine like somebody, one of these other podcasts that doesn't know that phrase be like, what a jerk. Love the show, though. Like,
yeah. You know what this tells me? That tells me we are dominant in his mind, and that's what matters here.
That is what matters. Yes, exactly.
We don't mind that you have other shows to listen to. We don't mind that podcasting is a thick field of competition, and a lot of people are vying for your eartime, but we like that our stupid memes are foremost in your mind.
For sure, yes.
So please, more of that. We also got one here about heating and cooling. This is a good one. Check this out.
Hey, this is Jeff Ronenberg, formerly from Colorado, now from Vegas for like the third time. It's kind of a long story, but anyway, I was just listening to your guys' tangent after the dad who had the thermostat wrote in, which, by the way, what a way to commit to the bit, right? Like, I thought I was pretty good at dad jokes, but like literally tattooing the dad joke on your body, like, mad respect. ADHD is real. Anyway, so you guys went on a tangent talking about how, like, you set the thermostat to 72 versus 80, and it just has to maintain once it gets there, right? And that's, like, kind of true, right? Like, pulling the energy out of your house 1 degree is usually the same at 72 versus 80, because, I mean, disregarding thermal efficiency. But the thing is, like, second rule of thermodynamics, right? Heat always goes from hot into cold. So if you've got like a window open and the cold air doesn't go out, right? Hot air comes in. So if you kind of think about like hot air as being like the Zerg, right? And you got like a bunch of Zerglings rushing your base, but the good news is that you're a smart Protoss player, so you put a bunch of photon cannons in there. It's kind of like your AC. Well, the more Zerglings are coming in, right? Those photon cannons got to shoot a lot to protect your base. So if you think about a ton of energy coming in, means your AC has to run more often, right? The cycles happen more often. Whereas if there's only like trickling of Zerglings coming in, then your photon cannons barely have to shoot at all, which is kind of like running less often. So the time to go down 1 degree is about the same, but the number of times in a day it has to do that goes up the hotter it is outside. Anyway, sorry guys, it was kind of a crazy analogy. I know Scott likes analogies, so maybe that's useful or not. I don't know, but I heard it, and the dude could not abide. And there you go. Cheers.
All right, that's awesome. I love it, and it's a fine analogy. Look, more Zerg means more power, means you got to shoot more. I totally get it. I get it.
Yeah, way easier to just it makes perfect sense. Way easier to tower defense a little trickle of enemies than a big mad rush. We've all seen that Facebook advertisement of the war game that none of us are ever going to download because of the microtransactions, but we know how it works.
No, we know exactly what's up there. No, that's cool. I hadn't really thought of it that way. So basically, it both proves and disproves my point about whether it's 80 or 72, it doesn't matter. There's issues of efficiency and also the rate at which heat is trying to penetrate your home later in the afternoon at higher temperatures than it would at lower temperatures. So maybe Kim's got a point. I don't know. I don't like to concede, but I'll look further. All right, concession, no concession yet. Give me time on this. Give me time.
But yeah, no, I want to have a drink with that guy in Vegas, and after I've had at least one drink with him, then he can tell me the long story of why he's in Vegas and not Colorado.
Yeah, and multiple times or whatever he was saying, some kind of weird.
Right, multiple times.
Yeah,
but I need one drink in me first, but then I want to hear why you're in Vegas, because I'm sure he's got to be coming to TMS Vegas if he lives there.
I hope so. He didn't say, but I really hope so.
No reason not. Like, we're there. We are in your base. We have infiltrated your base.
Yeah, the Zerg have overtaken your command center. What are you going to do now?
That's right. I'm having dinner, by the way, with Bernadette tonight. So Bernadette from the Plaza. So
lovely.
If you have any questions for me to ask her, please let me know. I already have like a list of like, all right, what about this? How about this? Can we do this? What about this? So
yeah. And she's always good, so we'll find out.
That's right. Don't ask me to ask her for more stuff.
No. No. Personal hot tubs in every room, not going to happen. Okay.
That's right. Can we get a rooftop bar just for us?
You guys, I'm so excited about the swag. I just got proofs back for part of it. I don't want to give away what it is yet, but man, it's going to be good this year.
The stuff I've seen you show me already, I'm excited about.
I know. I'll show you that. I got a proof for a thing today you have to do a little visualization to see how it would finally look because of what it is, but you'll get it because you've done this before. You'll understand.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you.
Cool.
All right, we're going to do this now.
What's a foodie?
Yeah.
We're going to do a foodie thing that we haven't done in a very long time. In our hands, we have a wee box of Kit Kats, fancy ones, sent to us by September, our one of our favorite months, September, and people. And these are mysteries because they're super Japanese and have no English indication whatsoever.
Nope.
These.
Now, the green one, at least I know I've had before, and I know this flavor, so we could do that one first, but I don't know if you remember what this flavor is. So I'm excited about the brown.
This one, right? We have the exact same ones.
We do.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Let's do the green one first then. So you've had this before. It's familiar to me because this good job thumbs up thing on the back is familiar.
Yeah. Well, they all have that. It's like, oh, congratulations, you've opened the package kind of thing.
It's funny. It's got Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram logos, and then I assume that those Japanese characters are the account they're on, so it's a Japanese account for those services. But anyway.
Might be, or it might just be, find us on... We're just called Kit Kat.
Yeah, we're just Kit Kat.
Social media.
That's a good point. I bet they are.
Yeah.
At least they try to be. Somewhere they had to be Kit Kat 21 or something because someone took it. But
yeah.
All right, here we go.
These are green than I remember.
These are very green. So I'm guessing some sort of matcha business. I can only taste these because I'm not supposed to eat sugar.
Oh, so you're gonna taste it and spit it out?
No, I'll just take a little corner of it. I just won't finish it. Maybe
there's two in the thing, so.
All right, here we go. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's like matcha, right?
Totally matcha. You met your matcha.
I met my... That time I met your matcha. It's not bad.
Matcha.
Aren't they doing a new series about the dad or something?
Already did it.
Oh, is that done?
I don't know if it's done, but it was the first season already came out, and
woo! That is
I didn't hear enough good things about it to decide to watch it.
Did the only actor that came back was Punky Brewster? Not Punky Brewster. What's his name? You think of his name? Daniel Patrick Daniel.
Neil Patrick
Harris.
Yeah,
he came back, right?
Doogie Brewster.
Yeah. Old Doogie Brewster. I used to love that show.
Yeah.
Okay, so then this other one looks like a creamy thing.
Yeah, and so September sent me a picture of the bag, and I see the picture that's on there, and so I'm very curious about what this is going to taste like.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess.
Look at you! Did you cut your thing open with scissors? Look at you in that way you open.
It's very precision, right?
It is. It's like
almost like a commercial, but it just kind of
surgical. Yeah, it's so that you can just have a bite, push it back into its little bag.
Yeah, like a little cigarette box,
Yeah. So there's
Let's see yours. Hold on. So Brian's got the full unit. There it is.
Yeah, I mean the full unit.
Yep, the full unit.
I'm gonna save the other one in the bag for Tina probably.
I'm smelling it. I'm getting a white chocolate vibe, but that doesn't mean anything with these. Okay, I don't know what to call that.
It's a very subtle flavor, very, very light flavor, not very sweet. And
wait, what is that?
So, based on the bag,
yeah,
wow, it is like I'm not getting at all what this is. They're wheat crackers, like
Really?
not like Ritz, but like circular. Yeah, I can probably copy this image and paste it in our chat.
Well, now that you say that, I am getting kind of a
Yeah.
little wheat, like a whole wheat kind of vibe. Huh.
Yeah.
I actually like
It's,
that one. That one's good.
Uploading a 29.5 megabyte file for you to look at. Yeah, like Breton crackers.
Breton, are those a thing? I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Oh, I do know what those are. Yes, that
Yeah.
totally. Like somebody slipped that inside of some white chocolate or something.
Yeah, it's a very subtle flavor, and I'd still get more sweetness than anything else. I was expecting a savory cracker or a savory Kit Kat based on the
Oh, that's
the photo.
100%. These are the crackers I was thinking of too. This is 100% what
Yeah.
I thought it was.
yeah.
It is a big file.
It is, yeah.
It's a nice thing about being a, what do they call it? Nitro user. They let you upload
Yes.
huge
No,
files.
there's no way. Yeah, I'd have to let me open this up in Photoshop and save a JPEG.
Yeah.
It's 200 pixels wide.
It's so funny how I am perfectly willing to spend $10 on all these boosts and quirks for Discord, and I refuse to spend $8 on Twitter. I will never do it. I'll never do it. He's never getting it from me.
I am so 100% with you. I need to make no apology for that, for feeling like that.
Well, first of all, there's no benefits in there currently that I need or want.
Yeah.
That's number one. So you're not giving me value for the dollar, and the value is definitely not retaining a blue check mark that I had to pay for.
Right.
So that's all stupid. You gotta have a reason there, musky boy. All right. Well, that's
thank you,
great.
September. These are awesome.
Yeah, these are great. I will save the rest of them for the boy I blamed for taking them, who didn't actually take them.
Yes.
And I will apologize to him in advance and say, Nick, I besmirched you before I knew the truth. It just did seem like something. If I was going to have it out, he might do that.
Yeah.
You know, because
Sure.
he likes the chocolate, and he would have said, "Oh, these are just loose and laying here." And Kim runs a generous house where everything is, "Hey, do you need something? Here, take it." That's how we do it.
I mean, I feel like we're like that for Tristan, but I'd still like, hold on, check with me before you just eat the. If there's something that's one of a kind, if there's a bowl full of these, Tristan will come in. He'll help him.
Exactly.
Help himself and
Exactly.
go for it.
You're absolutely right. So had he done it, I would have had words. Since I just blamed him without any evidence, now I'm the one that I kind of have to work on. But anyway, Kit Kats and September, they go together like a great month and some chocolate. So thank you,
For sure.
September. That was very nice of you. All right, we are going to. We got to hurry too because we don't have a ton of time.
We got Amy here.
Yeah, let's get Amy in here. We're going to do a little read this for your Thursday, and then maybe some news time, and then we got Wendy later. It's a lot we got today.
right.
So
Yeah.
let's get to it here by playing this. Well, if you've missed her like we have, because we didn't have a show last Thursday, then you'll be happy to know that Amy's back. Amy, a.k.a. Red Fraggle, here to talk about books and why you should read them. Amy, welcome back.
Oh, good morning, friends. How is
Good
everybody
morning.
this morning?
Good. Is that horrible cold gone? Are you done?
I mean, the dregs of it are still hanging on. I still sounded like this when I first got up this morning, so.
I'm sorry.
But, you get a good shot of Flonase up in there.
Oh yeah.
Blow your nose, you feel better.
Yeah.
A little snoot and a toot. Right
Yeah.
There, the
Yeah.
Flonase.
Is
Yeah.
Flonase the
Yep.
one they say you shouldn't do too often because it's you'll become not addicted but you'll become dependent or something, or your nose will...
Yes, yeah, that's what I actually learned that from Dan when he talked about it on the show a while back ago.
That's right.
And yeah, I don't use Flonase every day. I used to because I live with dogs and I'm actually allergic to them, but I love them so much. So
Well, I think the
I'm like,
clarification was interesting because my assumption when he said that was, oh, well, are there junkies just sitting around horking Flonase somehow? And he's like, no, the way it works is the dependence is your systems of like the way your nose behaves. We'll get used to having that stuff in there, and then we'll start reacting differently. It's kind of like if you soak in water every day and then suddenly we're put in a desert for a month. your skin would have a
Yeah.
hard time.
Well, the best
Adjusting.
comparison is if you take like to go to bed, you take those what is it, melatonin
Yeah.
every night. Your body stops producing it naturally, and so basically you're turning off your body's ability. You depend on it. Basically.
Oh, right, because your body's like, oh, you're making it? I don't need to? Okay.
Right, exactly.
I'll go
yeah.
spend my time preparing terrible dreams or whatever it does when it's not making
Yep.
that amazing
Bobby
thing.
says that
Yeah.
Flonase is fine. It's not the one. It's not like Afrin. Afrin is the bad one.
I thought
That's supposed to
Flonase-
get you.
Flonase is the maybe Flonase is just it's because the saline ones are good. Maybe Flonase is just
Right.
that. Maybe
It might
that's what
be,
it is.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, Bobby.
Yeah, I'm having to use saline pretty regularly now because I pierced my nose, and like you clean that with saline, a piercing.
Mhm.
It's kind of hard to get up in your nose unless you have like some saline spray. So I'm horking that.
You know what I
pretty much
picture?
every day.
Here's what I picture. I picture whether it's the one that goes through the nose, like through each nostril, like a cross, like a bone, like
the
old
bar,
school bone
yeah.
or bar, or if it's the little ring on the nostril flesh. Either way, I picture you guys taking a little floss and like putting it in there and just going.
Oh, no.
Oh God! All right. Thank you for those goosebumps.
It's not the way you like to get goosebumps, but you'll take
No.
it in a pinch.
No.
Yeah.
I used to know a kid who did that, like in middle school. You always had the kid who could like, put spaghetti up his nose and then it would come out his mouth and then he'd go, like.
Oh yeah.
Did you guys ever know that person? And
No.
Well, we know him as Brian Brushwood, but that's about it.
Oh right, yeah.
okay.
Still don't know how he does that
Nasty.
trick, but.
Yeah.
Ugh. I had to sit.
All
I had to
that
sit
stuff
next
is
to him with
connected.
I had to sit within like 4 inches of the dude
Yeah.
while he did
Yeah.
that. That was
Yeah,
horrendous.
you and me both. That was like okay. I never need to see that ever again. Thank
Yeah,
you
and
very
I thought,
much.
well, if I'm close up, I'll see the trick and I'll go, oh, this is what he's doing. Nope, it
Yeah.
looks as
No.
bad up close as it does far away. It's disgusting.
Exactly. Yeah.
Anyway,
Yes.
well, let's
I
get to
want
some
to
books.
real quick talk about one thing.
Okay.
And I promise I won't take a long time. But I was gonna do a whole thing, but I heard you say we got to get moving because we got a long Wendy today and all that. So I'm just gonna say, I've seen a lot of people like directing a lot of angry responses to things lately.
Mm.
And Scott, like you sent me that one that the guy was angry about the last Wendy segment, and then I saw this morning several people like angry about Dan's segment the other day.
Yeah.
And I just want to, I'm not going to talk about any of those actual things. I just want to kind of encourage people that these guys, these hosts, Brian and Scott, and frankly, all as a fan turned guest, I am the same way. If you want to correct us, we're totally down for that.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
hey,
always.
we had a blind spot. We didn't see, like, this thing we said was hurtful or was incorrect or whatever.
Mhm.
We're I know I speak for myself, and I know this from listening to you guys for years. Nobody on this show is like, I'm always right. Screw you."
Exactly. Yeah.
No,
You
we
know,
don't dig in.
nobody's-
We'll always, not only admit when we're wrong, but we'll also always open for a conversation. If you've got an issue, whatever it is, just tell us. You don't have to assume that there's a fight every time.
Right.
Like there isn't one.
Exactly.
There's never one. In fact, we're just people like you, and we're not
Mhm.
perfect. If you're coming on here expecting perfection 4 days a week, well, I got bad news for you. You're not going to get that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but what you will get is a willingness to come to the table and discuss these things. Always.
Yep.
There's never a time where either me or Brian or anybody who comes on here is ever just going to go, nope, that's it. F off. We're not talking to you. Unless you're a
Right.
complete douchebag and it's obvious to everybody involved, then you might get that treatment. But if you have an actual point and you want to make it, I'm happy to be wrong
Yeah.
once in a while. I'd love
Yeah.
getting told.
We'll
I love
always
it when
admit, yeah.
and I don't have a problem
Exactly.
saying when I
And
did
To
something
learn
wrong.
new things.
The thing that cracks me up is the people who are like, if you keep saying this, you've lost me as a listener. And to me, I'm like, okay, person who says that,
Yeah.
bye. I'm
Yeah,
happy for you
exactly.
to leave.
Yeah.
Like, if you come out of the gate saying that, whereas that versus, hey, this thing that you said actually impacted me this way. I'm sure it's not what you intended, but it impacted me this way. You guys are going to receive that much differently.
Yeah.
And so if your aim is to be mad, okay, fine, whatever. But if your aim is to actually change a mind or change a behavior, it's much better to just lean in and say, hey, you hurt me. Like
Yeah.
this thing that was said on your show hurt me.
Yeah.
And can you address it, please? And so anyway, I just want to
open to that
there.
every time. I'm glad you brought it up because there is a bit of that going on. There's a lot of negativity right now, and the internet's a hard place, and we know all this. But I think it's just easy to assume that all outputs of media are a little faceless, and there aren't real people behind the mic sometimes. I think it's easy to get into that headspace. But we don't do that.
Yeah.
We're not that. So, it's hard for me to speak for everybody I work with, but I know at least for Brian and I, we're not in it for that. We're in it for, these are real. We know you guys are real people, and hopefully we're real people. And even though we're on this side of the mic, we don't assume some sort of extra power from that. So if we have said something that is just like flat out wrong, like I've been corrected 8 times in the chat today already. That's great. It's great. That's what we want. So come to us and talk to us. And oftentimes we'll reach out to you because we'll see somebody in the chat that has, a bit of a flame out. We're like, oh crap, I think I maybe worded that wrong. And I'll reach out to them and try to connect. Usually that works. Sometimes they just want to be mad. And that's your right. It's fine. But, don't come in here assuming we're just, dicks looking for dick moves.
Right. Making dick moves.
Making dick moves. Yo. Yeah. All right. Let's get to reading. Okay. What are we reading today?
That's enough of that. I have a book I am going to read to you guys, not because I didn't like the audiobook narrator for it. I just didn't like the passage that they chose. So I'm gonna pick my own and I'm gonna read it to you guys. I know you guys love when I do this.
Yeah,
so.
This is AI though, right? It's not really Amy.
Oh yeah, I totally pre-recorded this, sent it to Scott, all that.
It's Amy Intelligence is what it is.
Nice. That'll be hard to find. Okay. So here we go. I'm afraid I don't understand a lot of the words you use, Auntie Mame. Oh, child, she cried, with her feathery sleeves fluttered wildly across the bed. What can be done about your vocabulary? Didn't your father ever talk to you? Hardly ever. My dear, a rich vocabulary is the true hallmark of every intellectual person. Here, now. She burrowed into the mess on her bedside table and brought forth another pad and pencil. Every time you hear a word that you don't understand, you write it down and I'll tell you what it means. Then you memorize it and soon you'll have a decent vocabulary. Oh, the adventure of molding a new little life. She made another sweeping gesture that somehow went wrong because she knocked over the coffee pot, and I immediately wrote down 6 new words which Auntie Mame said to scratch out and forget about. God knows you can learn more in 10 minutes in my drawing room than you did in 10 years with that father of yours. What a criminal way to raise a child. She looked at her watch and fluttered her feathers. Good heavens, I've got to do some shopping with Vera. Perhaps you'd like to come along. She looked at me in my suit of lightweight mourning. For God's sake, child, haven't you got some clothes that don't make you look like a sick crow? I said I had. Well, put them on if you're coming with me, and don't forget your vocabulary pad. By the way, child. Yes, Auntie Mame? Did your father ever say anything? That is, tell you anything about me before he died? He only said that you were a very peculiar woman, and to be left in your hands was a fate he wouldn't wish on a dog. But beggars can't be choosers, and you're my only living relative. That bastard, she said evenly. I reached for my vocabulary pad. That word, dear, was bastard. It's spelled B-A-S-T-A-R-D, and it means your late father.
Wow.
Nice.
Energetic on this one. I like this one a lot. This is a good read.
Oh, thank you. Yes,
Auntie Mame. So the character sounds from, is this a really old book? Because
It is
All right.
A really old book. The name of the book is Auntie Mame, An Irreverent Adventure by Patrick Dennis. And it was made into a film. It was made into a musical, which is dreadful.
Yeah.
But the film The film with Rosalind Russell. Don't ever watch the one with Lucille Ball. Just don't. Just don't.
Wow.
Don't,
Okay.
Don't watch it. I know. I love Lucille Ball. I love. What's his name? The guy that did The Music Man.
Oh yes.
Chat, help me. Victor Victoria, Robert Preston, maybe.
Preston. Yes, I think that's
okay.
right. Yeah.
So yeah, I love him. I love Lucille Ball, but the freaking the one called Mame. Yes, the guy in The Last Starfighter, Dice Tomato. Yes, that guy.
Had to find the right connection to the to the chat room, to the
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah. That one is dreadful. If you watch the one with Rosalind Russell, it's glorious. And so this is kind of a film/book recommendation. But the film was based on the book, and it's by Patrick Dennis. It's a novel, and it takes place in like, the roaring 20s. And so she's got bootleggers, she's got cocktail parties and whatnot. And this little boy who's 10 years old is orphaned, and she is his only living relative. And so he goes to live with her, and she is just irreverently bombastic. And she, so what made me want to do this book was, I think it was last week, Scott, you did the little movie quote quiz for Brian.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the quotes you guys both sort of blanked on because neither one of you knew it was, "Life is a banquet and most poor suckers are starving to death."
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So that is basically the theme of Auntie Mame, and it's glorious, and it was one of my favorite films growing up. My mom and I quote it all the time.
I don't think I've ever seen it, or I don't even think I've seen a scene from it. I don't know why I'm so not in that world.
It's fantastic. I absolutely, and Scott, you would love it because, like I say, it takes place in the 20s, so it's got that, and it was filmed in the 50s and 60s, so it's got that very sort of Technicolor feel to it, and everything is over the top and everything is ridiculous. And
I do love that style, or that whatever that is. I don't even know what you call that, but that way of talking, that whole era is always infinitely fascinating to me.
Oh yeah, it's great. And I thought about clipping the trailer, but the trailer is very like, I don't know. It wouldn't play very well without the visuals, I think, but it's great. So I love everything about it. It's a quick little read. As far as a book, it's only like, let me see, 250 pages, and it's great. It's essentially this kid who was growing up in a very well-to-do, very conservative household where he had a nanny, and his dad really only talked to him at breakfast, where he mostly told the kid to pipe down because he was hungover, and he would say, "Pipe down, kid, the old man's hung," so that he went from that, but very stuffy and I'm looking down my nose at other people, to Auntie Mame, who is just she's just absolutely flamboyant, and I love everything about it. And she teaches him sort of to open his eyes to how other people live and stuff. Yeah, there's some bad reviews on it, I guess. But
no. The reason I'm bringing this video up is I this always ends up happening. I'm like, who gave this 1 star? So I go and look.
Yeah.
It's people who don't know how to click. So it says, like, this person right here, Janet, does this review. I was so glad to see this book in my Kindle. I have all the Patrick Dennis books, and I just love them. And I was so sorry in the 70s when he died, and no final book forthcoming. Love the intro to this book. I don't consider any of his books outdated. 1 star. What are you doing?
What?
This is a perfect review.
Because I'm mad that there aren't more books by him because he died.
Right? How dare he die?
1 star for Patrick Russell's death.
Yeah, the other one in here is
Whatnot has a great. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, the other one in here says, here's the review, 1 star. The entire Kindle book is underlined. I don't know why. That's the whole review. That's not a review of a book. That's a technical problem you got to deal with at a Kindle level. What are you doing?
Yeah.
All right. Anyway.
Yeah, sadly, not available to stream for quote unquote free anywhere, but it's cheap to rent anywhere you want to look. The Rosalind Russell movie, by the way, $249 to rent just about everywhere, or $299 Apple TV, Vudu. Yeah.
Whatnot had a great idea in the chat. Maybe it's a good adventure club.
Oh, that'd be fun. We could do that. Yeah, the reason I have never seen it, I think, is because I honestly have just never even heard of it. I try to expose myself to older stuff with films and things here and there, Maltese Falcon or freaking whatever. I like that era, and I usually have heard of this. I'll admit I never even heard of this till today. So I feel
it's great.
in the dark.
The message of the book is very it was progressive for its time. Now, don't get too excited. There's, it's full of white people, and it's not it doesn't have a lot of really heavy messages, but it does turn its nose up at New England snobbery and and a lot of anti-Semitism as well, because there's a scene in there where there's this other family who's they're trying to buy up a lot of property because potentially the people who are also bidding on the property are Jewish.
Oh, zing-a-ding-dong. Yeah.
Auntie Mame is oh, well, I'll take care of that. And so she buys the property and donates it to them to make, I don't want to give it away. But anyway, Auntie Mame does a fabulous thing that makes these people just clutch their pearls, and it's wonderful.
Well,
I love see that is iconic right there. That image, that's who she is.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. Well, I'm going to seek out both the book and the movie. So you guys should do that as well. Real quick, you got a little bonus link here today.
I do.
A little bit of a Bill move. Yeah, I like it.
Still, I figured I would steal Bill's bit and have a bonus link for you. So you guys mostly all know that my husband Chuck and I, on the side, we own a little small business called Peepers Puppets, where we make little small handheld puppets and sell them. And so this past weekend, we sponsored a workshop with this guy, Carl Herlinger, who is a classically trained ventriloquist, but also just a wonderful performer and puppeteer. And so I figured I would give him a little shout out. And also, if you look at some of his videos, if you kind of scroll down a little bit, you can see I do very simple things with the Peepers, and they're fun for kids. They're really easy to use, but you can also see you're not limited to what you can do. This guy made an entire puppet around a pair of Peepers, and it's it looks like this grumpy old man wearing a little red cardigan sweater. And he's great. And it really shows, what you can do with a simple idea and a lot of imagination.
This guy is into puppetry. Boy, howdy. Look at his channel go.
Oh, yeah. Well, and his ventriloquism is fantastic. You can see, he's making these really close-up videos, and his lip control is on point. You can't see anything.
I like good lip control.
Yeah, lip control.
Right? Apparently that's what you call it. We actually took his ventriloquism workshop just for fun over the weekend, and that's what it's called. It's called
They really call it lip control? LC? How's your LC doing? Let's
good
see
old LC. Yeah, sure.
Take a look at that. All right. Well, this is great as well, so go check that out. Amy, always a pleasure having you on the show. I hope next week we'll have something else to read. That'd be fantastic as well.
I'm sure we will.
Anything else you want to mention before we send you off into the Wild West there east?
Come to Vegas and be nice to everybody, guys. Be kind.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We're like a kindness wave in Vegas. We come in there and the whole place doesn't even know what to do with us. That's what you ask that plaza lady. She'll be like, "Oh my gosh, you're too nice."
There's no niceness in Vegas. Get out of here.
There's no meanness in Vegas.
That's right.
Who are you with this stuff?
We could be like those German businessmen that trash the place every year, but no, we don't. We don't do it. Amy, have a grand old week, and we'll see you next week. Have a fun one.
You too.
Bye.
All right, we are going to take a break. When we return from said break, my sister Wendy will be here, and she'll have a lot to say about an email we got that I did have an AI read because it sounded really good. Okay.
They're much better. Yeah, there's
not in our voice. I didn't use me or Brian or anything like that, but I used another sort of nondescript person, and it sounded great. Cool. So anyway, that's all coming up after this break. But Brian, we can't take a break until you tell me what song we're breaking with.
Well, you know how you and I both love the electronic music that's just kind of driven, that's just kind of straight ahead, kind of keeps you no lyrics to get distracted by. Put this on while you're working on something, and bam, time flies and your work is done. Kind of thing.
Love it.
This guy named James Chapman, who performs under the name Maps, has a brand new album called Counter Melodies. Mute Records supplying this one. Big thanks to Mute Records. Love when they send me something, because I mean, these are the guys who had Depeche Mode back in the early days, and Book of Love, and
oh my gosh,
Figures on a Beach, and
that's awesome.
Mute Records is fantastic.
I hear they got a new album, by the way, Depeche Mode, that's supposed to be killer.
Really?
Someone told me that the other day. Yeah, I haven't heard it either, but I'm curious about that. Anyway, sorry. Reminded me of
that. Anyway, James Chapman, brand new under the name Maps, has a brand new album called Counter Melodies. Here is the first song from it, or the single from it. It's called Witchy Feel. This is so good. Enjoy it. Here's Witchy Feel by Maps.
Playing hockey is no different than any other sport. To be a good student of the game, you must know the fundamentals. Play the game as often as you can, but even when you can't, there are other preparations you can make, but I'll deal with them later. Remember, the puck stops here.
I don't mind tentacles.
The Morning Stream. No dicks here.
And we've returned. Hey, I need to write down that song. What was that again?
Sure. Get your pencil out and write down the words Witchy Feel. That's the name of the song by the band Maps. Brand new album called Counter Melodies. And the whole thing is as good as what you just heard.
Damn. That's high praise from Brian Ibbott.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
This is a guy.
Well deserved.
This is a guy who listens to a lot of music every day. And
I do.
He knows the difference between trash and quality.
I know, good quality music when I hear it.
That's right. Well, let's see if we can get some good quality therapy.
Everyone knows it's Wendy.
With my sister, Wendy Dunford. She is a qualified therapist who helps people all the time with real problems, and she comes on here on Thursdays and helps you with some of yours. Wendy, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, thanks.
It's been a bit. It's been a little time since we've had
it.
It has.
I wasn't here last week, so that was a bit of a bummer. But I was thinking about you today because Raquel Welch died, and she's mom's age.
Oh.
And that weirded me out because in my head, I mean, I know she's a bombshell for a different era, right? Like she's not really my generation of that. But I always knew about her, and she would guest star on a million things, and she was on Seinfeld for a pretty funny episode. And
oh yeah, right.
And
everybody's seen that poster of the fur bikini from 10,000 BC, and
right, and that was on the wall, or that was in Shawshank, and
right,
like she's got this heritage around her, and it just never occurred to me that this human being that is Raquel Welch is just my mom.
Die.
It's just my mom, just my or that she not that she could die, because I know everybody could die, but whenever somebody is my mom's age, like an actor or something, it always throws me. I don't know why. Just like, wait, you're as old as my mom is? That's freaking weird. I don't know. It's a weird little side feeling that I had, but anyway.
Oh, so you thought of me because Raquel Welch died.
Well, and that obviously real audio that I sent you the other day of you saying you liked it.
Here's the thing about that.
Yeah.
What is so obviously not me is how chipper I am in that.
Yeah, you're stoked. Do you want to know? Everybody here thinks it's
you often sound chipper. What are you talking about?
Yes. It sounded so weirdly chipper. Like, no one didn't think that was me.
Well, here, let's play it again. See how chipper it sounds.
Hi, I'm Wendy Dunford, and I loved it when my brother chased me around with what I thought was a hot soldering iron. turned out it wasn't. But what a great time that was.
Isn't that weird how it
I'd
inflected?
never say any of those words except for I did. Obviously, say all those words.
You did. You never said them. Like I made that sentence up, and all I had to do was do a little bit of a 10-second clip of you on TMS just talking about something. It wasn't even anything particular, and it trained your voice. And now there is a voice that will say anything I tell it to say in your voice. Isn't that weird?
So I need to understand how any of the world is going to work after this.
I know, dude.
I know. I think Wendy's one of those people we need to add the list. Need consent before making her say anything else.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
100%.
dude. No, trust me. I don't even dare do that with her in particular. But here's the thing: like, you're not wrong, Wendy. Some people have said to me, "Well, this is how we felt about Photoshop."
No,
it's not quite the same.
Not quite the same. Yeah,
it's not the same. It's new level. If it's a close at all, it's a new level of that, and it's a much harder level to suss through.
Every time we come up with a pics or it didn't happen, the thing gets raised a little bit. Okay, video or it didn't happen, audio or it didn't happen. Like it's I don't know, in person touching your flesh or it didn't happen.
Yeah,
basically.
I was there and witnessed it firsthand, or it didn't happen. There you go.
and even then, we know you're wrong most of the time when you witness things that have happened.
That's right. That's right. Humans are very bad at telling. Like eyewitness testimony is not great. Like it's a I don't want to get too doom and gloom about it, but it is a strange new thing, right? And I don't know that humans are ready for it, but we'll see. We'll see.
No.
Ready.
We have a couple other things to solve first, but that's never how technology's worked.
No,
never solve anything first.
No,
just
don't solve
add
something
more
first. Just add
cool
more
gadgets.
You're absolutely right. All right. Well, let's. Speaking of cool gadgets, I actually used an AI to read today's email, so we're going to play that in a second.
Oh boy, that's actually a good use of this.
Yeah, it actually is, and it sounds great. Like very professional. It took 2 seconds to do it. It's kind of insane, but anyway, let's do that. We'll find out what this listener is looking for right now. Here we go.
Hey, Wendy, Brian, Scott. I am at a crossroads in regards of whether I should continue podcasting. Over the years, I've experimented with different formats ranging from morning talk shows, similar to the feel of TMS, to news commentary programs, politics, social issues, and even music programs similar to Coverville. I started podcasting about 6 months after I quit the radio business, 13 years experience. I did pretty much everything you can do in small market radio, newscasts, news writing, producing commercials, and DJing. I got out of the business because I didn't agree with a station company policy regarding covering political candidates seeking another office. In Missouri, our state house and Senate are subject to term limits. In 2006, my state representative was running for state Senate. My boss accused me of endorsing him, even though the candidate and I never once talked about his run until weeks after he lost the election, and I had quit the job. I ran into the candidate at a grocery store. Most recently, I produced a morning show for 2 years, but based on statistics, I wasn't drawing listeners. I would tell friends about the show. They would encourage me, but never seemed to follow through on the promise. They would listen to a show. This is highly frustrating because I have dreamed of being a radio broadcaster since I was 8-9 years old. So in all of this, is it wise for me to continue producing content? Money isn't a big problem in this endeavor, but I would like to get at least some emotional, financial reward for this work. Thanks for taking the time to read my letter and hope it might help others pursuing a seemingly fruitless dream. I've been a longtime fan of TMS, started listening in March 2011, and have listened to every episode to date. Same goes for FilmSack. JH.
All right, JH. Boy, that's so well read, it freaks me out.
I don't know why. Yeah, I mean, he sounds like he's got a great voice for podcasting, so he really should.
Yeah. This robot named Sam read that, and it's freaking creepy how good it is. Anyway, JH, I thought this was an interesting email because it just mirrored a lot of like his particular dream is in radio and broadcasting and specific podcasting. But there are people out there all the time who are like, man, I wanted to be a doctor, but it didn't pan out, or man, I wanted to do this, or it didn't work, or whatever.
Or I started doing this and didn't make enough money on it, but I love doing it, and you know, do I still pursue it?
Yeah, or did I never got the recognition or even the support or whatever? Yeah. And it can be so demoralizing because in a lot of ways you are one of the promises that you're told is a promise is that you can be anything you want to be. Mm-hmm. And I feel like while that may be technically true. I don't know that it has the probability of truth. Like not everybody can be Michael Jordan, but a whole lot of kids wanted to be. Not everybody can be the, PewDiePie or the top streamer in the world, but a lot of kids want to be and think they're going to be, and then are disappointed when they can't be.
When the views don't start coming in, like, wait a minute, I'm doing the same thing as PewDiePie. Why aren't I getting the views and that sort of thing?
Right.
Yeah.
So Wendy, where do you want to go with this one?
The answer, I mean, when I first read it, and then just as you guys were talking again about it, I'm thinking I have the same thought, and I don't know if it's right or even relevant, but I'll just say it, which is like it's an issue of timing. Right? PewDiePie is only PewDiePie because of timing.
Timing and luck, yeah. You're right.
Yeah. And I look at, like, Scott, your early podcasting endeavors, like, you were alive at the right time. Millennials know this feeling when you ask them about owning homes. They were always at the wrong time. Every crash, they're in 5th grade. They should have been buying houses. What were they doing? Like, you just don't. Timing really, really does matter. And guess what we have no control over?
Timing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, is that too cynical? Like, I
don't know if it's too cynical. I think
it's
realistic.
Not. Yeah. I mean, it's very realistic. There's 2 prongs to it. There's I'm doing it because I want to make money. I want the recognition. I want people, I want lots of views, even if it doesn't equate to money. I want lots of people to listen to this. But then there's also I do it because I have a passion for this thing. I would do it whether I had 10 listeners or 10,000 listeners,
right?
Kind of thing. And that's what that's where I would start with JH, is saying, what's the goal? And are you doing a radio morning show because you love a morning show? Are you doing a music show because you're excited about that? It sounds like, news and political commentary might be the thing that he or she is more passionate about.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the direction. And if you're passionate about something, it'll come through. You'll get the views. You'll get the people who are looking for your specific brand of stuff. Sorry, I feel like I'm stepping on your.
You're doing great. I'm just gonna kick back. I love it.
Therapy Thursday with Brian Ibbett. I like it. It's new.
Yeah,
segment.
but I mean, it's do it for yourself first, because ultimately you need to be satisfied with the thing that you're putting out. You need to be happy, and you need to get your own emotional rewards from doing it. And if you do that, then the listeners who want that thing will come and find you.
I think part of it is a controlled expectations given the environment. So if your expectations in 2004 were to, this new podcasting thing, this sounds like fun, I think I would love to do this. That's a very different thing than in 2023, with nearly 20 years later. Oh my gosh. That's freaky. Nearly 20 years later, you saying to yourself, podcasting. I want to get in on the ground floor. There is no ground floor anymore. I mean, the ground floor exists, but it's not what it used to be. And so, when things took off for the instance, that was this thing of being prepared for the timing and the luck, but there was timing and luck, like big time. Like
right place, right time.
Yeah, I happened.
And the right content.
Exactly. I pulled the trigger at the right time. I had the content that was going to be the right thing for the right time, and it hit. And that was a huge boost for everything else to come after that. That doesn't happen to everybody, and it's also really crowded now. It used to be like for a perspective, when I started the Instance, it was a World of Warcraft podcast, and at the time there were 3 others that existed. That I could find at all. There were 3 total. And one of them I think was already going away. So maybe 2 that were active. Now there's still to this day hundreds and hundreds of them. Like it's just a different time.
There are hundreds and hundreds listed, but if you start looking at 8 episodes and they were done in 2020 or 14 episodes and this one was finished in, 2019 or whatever.
Yeah.
That's
People give up all
the
the
thing
time.
that gets really that breaks your heart when you're like, I've got this great idea for a podcast. And then you do a search and you find that there are 100 shows that have the same content or had the same idea. But then you just got to quickly drill down and say, all right, well, of those, how many are still producing their shows today? And of the ones that are still producing shows today, what can I do differently from them? Why don't I like what they're doing? What
Right.
can I? What's my take on? What's my spin?
Sure. Now, if you pull the camera way out, Wendy, which is probably where this is going to end up going, but
Oh,
if
is
it pulls-
Wendy still here?
Yeah, Wendy's still here. She's still with us. If I if I pull the camera way out and I say, so I had an experience with a friend of used to be a friend of mine, very strained relationship now, but somebody who is of some prominence. I'll just say he was huge in the sports space. Okay.
Okay.
I'll even
Okay.
say baseball. That's as far as I'll say it. We were
Okay, yes.
we were
There's
close
no-
enough.
There's no three people who don't know who you're
Bonds.
talking about.
No, I
Yeah.
wish it was Barry Bonds. It's not. But it was a guy who we were texting all the time and having phone conversations all the time, and we were close, pretty close friends. We still send Christmas cards to each other's families. That's where that is. However, he took a weird turn right around 2015 and never really recovered from it. And I won't get into details. The point, and a lot of people listening to this will know exactly what I'm talking about. But the point of this discussion is, we had a recent kind of run-in where I was annoyed with something that Elon Musk did, and his response to me was, "Well, if you do the work that he did, if you do the work, you could be like him. I don't think criticizing him is fair. You could be just like him." And it's this weird fallacy we have in our head of anybody can be a billionaire or a millionaire for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not. It's not just not feasible. It's literally not possible to have everyone be a billionaire. It doesn't. It's not possible right now. The top 10% of all wealth in America is a very small group of people. 60% or something of the population are in the bottom 1%.
Yeah, we
Like,
can't
it's-
even sustain the billionaires we have.
No, we
Right,
can't. And so this concept that we have of, well, you could be an astronaut, you could be president, you could be whatever. It's so discounty. It actually is not. It's not fair to tell people that. You could say, is it possible you could do all the right things and be on the exact right trajectory and know all the right people or whatever that you could become president one day? Yes, it is possible. Very remote, but it's possible. But probability never gets talked about. Parents don't ever go, well, the probable outcome is you're never going to amount to anything. They're not going to do that either.
No, exactly. You don't want let's squash their hopes and dreams right out of the gate.
Yeah,
But-
so my whole thing is about this, again, controlling your expectations of what do you want out of it. And I like what Brian said. It's like, if what you want out of it is just the joy of doing it, well, then you're set. Go for it. You're good. You're golden. And if anything happens on top of that, it will be gravy for you.
Yeah.
When I started in
it's
this,
such
that's what
an
it was.
American mindset, right?
Right.
Like what you're actually
Yeah.
describing is like bootstrap, work hard, you first in line, just step on everyone else. And if not, you're lazy, or if not, you're, it's not your own fault, or like there's a bit of the don't calculate the system you're in or the zip code you were born in or any other factors. We just love our stories that, and on one hand, it's like kind of cool because a lot of those stories are true and real and have happened. But man, we do wrap a lot of regular folks into that category and ourselves. And that's actually maybe what's relevant for this person. Like, what is underlying some of this for you? So, I mean, even at the end saying like money's not that big a deal, right?
Yeah.
Did I misunderstand that? Like,
No,
this
sound
does
like-
not, no one
it sound like-
starves here.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. He's not putting all of his eggs in the podcasting basket.
Which
Yeah.
I would
So-
totally
so-
recommend people absolutely not do.
Ever.
I would
Do
not
not do
recommend it. Now, if you're a successful comedian, you're like, yeah, I'm thinking I might start a podcast. You're going to make some
There you
money.
go.
You're going to do great because you've got all that other stuff and that momentum. But if you're somebody on the very ground floor without any notoriety of any kind to start with, go in for the passion. Do not go in for the money. You might get lucky.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but
I
don't,
mean, I can't even put all my eggs in the podcasting basket. I have to have eggs in all sorts of other baskets.
Right.
And let's actually take what that means, because
Yeah.
take the publishing industry, right? Something like, I don't know, millions of books written every year, and the ones that get published, you're paid to write and get published. I mean, the numbers, I think it's 250,000 maybe get published a year.
Yeah.
And so, your percentage, this piece of work you spent constant, unbelievable attention and time to, and it's going to not go anywhere, is an incredibly difficult thing, right? You could find this in many different industries, right? And so I guess it comes down to doing a couple different things, is analyzing, like, what is your motive? So yes, you had a dream since you were 9 to work in this type of thing. You had some problems at the company you were at before. It seems like the right time to switch. You're excited, you're doing stuff, you're asking friends, they're like saying the right words, but maybe, the numbers aren't following. So your measurements are a couple things. There's a lot of pressure on it, right? And then B, the measurement is a particular thing. And so something to ask is like, what am I so afraid would happen if I quit this? What would it mean for me? Or what am I afraid if I keep doing it and no one ever listens? Like, I like this question of like, what am I afraid of? Or a part of me is really scared of blank. You just kind of dig up some of what are you afraid of? You find out what drives people. I mean, I don't want to talk about billionaires because they annoy me, but like something drove them to some level that's unbelievable, right? And if a lot of people keep that momentum without ever getting curious, and if you get curious about it, like, what would actually happen? What is it? Or even the flip of, what do I really want here? Because, we all think we want 1 million views. I mean, do you?
You don't really know. You think you do.
Yeah. What are you going to do? Like, once you get that, what's the result of that?
Yeah. Let me tell you something. As someone who's gotten more than 1 million views on way more than 1 million listens on podcasting, my back still hurts, and the dog has cancer, and I have to poop, and I probably won't be able to do it till after the show. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what you think is over there.
Also, I'm really sorry about your dog.
I know. She's. I think we got it though. If the results come back that the tumor had it all, then I'm going to be really happy. But a little poorer, but happy. Freaking vets, man. Whew, vets. Yeah. You know what? I should have been a vet. That's the trick.
There
Listen.
You go. Yeah. Dang it, I wish I would have gotten in on that vet ground floor.
I'm telling you guys, vets don't do well generally emotionally. Yeah. So I love them and we need them, but man, that's a hard job.
It's like what Carter always says. She always said, we always told her when she was growing up, she loves animals so much and is always caretaking animals. I'm like, you would be the best vet. And she's like, I always told you, and I'll still say it today, I could never be a vet. I'm like, why? I can't put any animal to sleep. I can't give the news to somebody that their pet's dying.
Of what they do.
Yeah, it's a lot. Because why else are they bringing their dog in? Oh, your dog's riddled with tumors and will be dead in a week. That's not fun. That doesn't sound great.
And to do any medical intervention is so expensive. People just can't do it. Yeah. It's just, okay. Yeah. Moving back to your point. Your point is, hey, you've achieved the 1 million status and you still have to poop in the middle of a podcast recording. So
I don't for the record, I don't actually have to go. I was just trying to think of things, but yeah, fair. It still works.
Of course,
it
right.
Come out of nowhere, Scott. Yeah.
It is always top of mind though, Brian, so it's possible.
Of course.
Yeah, no, I you're absolutely right. We are terrible predictors as a species of our future happiness, right? Yeah. So drilling down on what and why, your motives. I like the 5 whys. We've talked about this before, where you just keep asking why. Every time you answer why, ask another why. So for example, why are you doing this? Well, it's because it's been a dream since I was 9. Why? Well, I don't know. It seemed like it'd be a lot of fun. Why? And then you just keep going. Like, what is really at the core here? Does it mean I'm a good person? Does it mean what I have to offer the world is enough? You can kind of get down to the nitty gritty of this, and maybe some things will shift. And then it might lead to that, the age old concept of like, follow your passion and the money will follow, right? Like, nah, that's not true. You follow your passion and you could be real poor.
Yeah.
You also might not, I don't know, but where you put your energy matters, because you have one life, one life to live. And it is where your time, where your energy goes is going to take up that life. So I think sometimes that a real honesty or a gut check or a pause, work it through with somebody else. I think our tendency is just like, follow what other people are doing that has been successful. Read, how many BuzzFeed articles or whatever are what the 5 things every successful whoever does. And they're like, drink water. Everyone's like, I'm drinking water, right? It's like, we want to know the secret, because the secret, it's hard for us to think, wow, it's timing or, what's his name? Bill Gates grew up near a supercomputer when no one else did.
No, that's right. Yeah, he's even said so. He's like, I spent 10 hours a day on this thing at this school. And he's acknowledged. He's like, no one else got access to that thing.
In one place on earth. Like, it's just not realistic. So I actually have some really concrete advice for this person to do.
All right. I like concrete.
Rather than just my sort of nebulous, check your gut and see what you're really thinking.
Here's a book on Amazon.
That'd be awesome. I don't have one, but if I did, I would definitely tell him to go there.
For sure, yeah.
So we're going to steal I forget, it's used in a lot of places, but it's just kind of this 80-20 rule we like to use in life of, where 80% of your energy, time, the work you're doing goes into, if that's going into stuff you can't stand, right? Or it's draining you, you're not going to do well, right?
Right.
But the truth is, like, 80% of the results of good stuff actually comes from 20% of your time. So they've done quite a few studies to kind of prove this, and it fluctuates a little bit, but it's pretty close to, 20% of your effort results in the 80% of the good things. Also, 20% of the crappy things in your life results in 80% of your suffering.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you can think about it.
No.
Does this vibe with you guys as a good principle?
Kind of, yeah. Thinking about just freelance projects and stuff like that. It's like, God, here's the fun stuff. Oh, and here's the stuff I've got to do on a month-to-month basis, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Drudgery.
Right.
Yeah.
So one thing to do with this, and like if he wants to pause and get a pen and paper, is to sit down with no distractions at all and start with a couple different things. Just vomit on a page all of your unique abilities. What can you do better than other people? And it doesn't mean you're better than other people. It just means like you like numbers and accounting more than your spouse. That's not hard to find. That's every household, right? Mm-hmm. Somebody's got just more skills than the other in certain ways, or things that just feel like unique to you. You're proud of them. Other people compliment you about those things. Okay. So write all that down, what you think are unique abilities.
All right.
And then take another minute to brainstorm this next thing. Then write down everything that is work, but doesn't feel like work.
Oh, this is interesting.
Okay.
Activities that just bring you joy. Okay.
So you got the things you're good at, things that bring
you're good
you
at,
joy
that you know of, and then things that do not feel like work.
Okay. I'm writing this down.
So when you say, do your monthly invoicing, Wendy's like, that's work.
It is work. I hate it. I hate it so much.
But then you say, hey, Wendy, talk to this person and help them not kill themselves. I'm like, do it. I'm done. I'm ready. Woo. Like that is fun for me.
Yeah.
I don't even feel like it's work. Time disappears, right? That is not a lot of people. That's fairly unique for me. And I mean, there's others, right? But that's pretty unique. And then, but what is this for him? What is this for you guys? What are your unique abilities? And then what does not feel like work? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then I want you to add your third sort of vomit list is where do you add the most value? And that's not what am I good at or what do I like? It's what is actually happening. Like what generates revenue.
Like the most value to other people?
Yeah,
the most value to yourself.
Either to your job, the people you're working with, your family.
Okay.
Where do you bring value?
Okay.
And a way to think about it is like, what are people thanking you for? Or when are you the go-to person?
Oh, interesting. That whole thing with like, what's your love language? Does that fit into that? Like you're a gift giver. Are you someone who calls and checks on people? Like that kind of stuff?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, you could do that. Or it's like, oh, you bring in the big bucks. Or when you do a presentation at your office, everyone stops and listens and then the sale is made, right? Like whatever the value, you can measure it in revenue or monetary ways. You can measure it in emotional, supportive kind of ways. It could be just like, you're the fun maker. Like everybody is excited to go to the thing you start or you do. So an easy way to kind of get this is look back at the feedback you're getting from other people, right? That can be helpful. Okay. And then figure out what of those things that are in any of these lists, it brings you joy, is uniquely yours, and it brings value, which one, maybe see if you can find threads. Maybe there's something that's in each of those boxes.
Like, oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And then look at, does it make you any money if money is what you need? Does it advance your relationships or your career? Does it make your community stronger? Does it help
Does it
kids?
just bring you emotional satisfaction?
Yeah. Find its like percent
Its
of
benefit,
your life energy. If you're doing this for business, it would be how much money it brings in, or whatever. Find the sweet spot, and then you kind of pick that, right? So that's where your 20% of energy should be going. So if you flip it, the opposite of, where's that 80% that when you focus on makes you insane?
Yeah.
Like it makes that 20% rough, right?
Yeah.
So what are you not good at? So I am not good at social media. Don't care, not interested. But what if that's really important to what I'm trying to do in my life?
Yeah.
Well, then I got to hire someone.
Right.
Now, what it sounds like, I'm listening to this guy's list of to-dos and accomplishments. I mean, he is doing all of it. It sounds like. That's what
it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
From what we can tell. Yeah.
And so what ends up happening when we do everything for a family or a business or whatever it is, everything is being done by one person who has a bunch of unique abilities, but also is not good at everything, is so much energy gets spent like diffusing what you can actually, like the gifts you're actually going to bring. Right.
Yeah.
So figuring out what is some stuff you can offload, hire out, drop completely. So for example, say he's terrible at marketing and sales of his podcasting. Let's say that is not his strength. And he keeps trying to do it himself by asking friends to listen. Right.
That's a good one. Yeah. I like that. What can I dump? I'm terrible at that. That's one of my weaknesses. I'm terrible at learning.
So
what
drop
I can
it,
dump.
hire someone else.
Bring somebody else in to do it. Social media, bring somebody else in to do it.
Yeah.
Somebody who that's in their 20% of genius, right? The thing they love and they're so good at and gives them joy.
Yeah.
You can find those people. They can do that magic while you do the stuff that you're good at, right?
Right.
Okay. And then here's the other one. This is my favorite part, is using the 80-20 rule again, is like, it's the same thing with 20% of stuff you're doing causes you the most stress. Creates that 80% of your stress, right? So it's the flip side of this.
Yeah.
So it's about figuring out what you want to get rid of. Okay. So paper and pen again, off the top of your head.
Yeah.
What are the 20% of stressors that cause 80% of your irritations? Just write them down.
20% of stressors that cause 80%
of your stress.
Yeah. So you dread it. You have a pit in your stomach. You avoid it. I find that, everyone avoids stuff a little bit, but when you are consistently avoiding your email, which I think is just all of us now, but but especially if it's important, that's a good sign. Like, I have to do this thing, and I am instead going to make cookies because I haven't even made cookies before. What are those things? Just write them down. Like, what would you? Where are these stressors coming from that cause most of your heartache?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
And then here's a fun question. What are one or two things? It could be something on that list. But one or two things that you do on a regular basis that you don't have to.
Oh, that definitely
for example,
is a thing I should evaluate. Yeah.
There's so much of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would write down driving my kids everywhere, but I have to.
Yeah. I mean, there's the things that, right. It's that you don't have to do.
Yes. But this would be something I don't have to do. But I am tempted to say, I hire a driver.
But you still need to allow for some of the stuff that you like to do that you don't have to, just because it brings you, like, wanting to play a video game for half an hour a day or something, just to like get away from stuff.
Yeah, or walking the dog.
No, this is not that. This is something you do on a regular basis that you don't have to.
You don't have to do, but
maybe
it's take a lot of your time. Yeah.
Right. Maybe it's take your clothes to the dry cleaning, and it actually, you can just wash them. I don't know. It's something like that where you've or the other way around. Like you just don't, it's not all that necessary.
Yeah, it fits into hire it out.
Hired it out is actually really true. And especially if you grew up like me, you hire nothing out ever. You just do it yourself. And no matter how much time and pain and waste of your time it is, you just do it. So trying to find something, I struggle with this one. I'm like, can someone do my email? No. Can someone plan the meals? No. Whatever. But I'm going to struggle to figure this out. But that might show you a couple of things you're doing on a regular basis that really you don't need to be doing.
Yeah.
And that leads to like, what am I spending my time on that's not worth my time?
Yeah.
And so maybe you can, cooking a giant meal every single night might not be necessary.
Yeah.
Could you do that on the weekend? There's some way to, we're messing around. And then the final one that I really like is to, what is weighing you down that if you let go of would be amazing. Right. So for example, I would like to learn German and I would like to learn how to crochet or something, right? Mm-hmm. And every year you add that to, I'm going to do this year. I'm going to learn to play the piano. I'm going to whatever. And so you're carrying around a burden of failure all year to just re-up the next year. So could you, and just imagine for yourself, like, what would it feel like to drop it, to let it go? I am not learning German. I'm free, right?
Finally. Never again. Yeah.
And then what happens to that energy? You have it back, but maybe people aren't always realizing they're handing out their energy to a ghost of a goal because it sounds awesome and I want to do it.
Yeah. But do you then feel the guilt of having this goal of this, like, hey, I want to just better myself for just the purpose of this thing that I know I'm going to enjoy. I'm going to enjoy doing crochet, or I know I'm going to enjoy learning German. But then you've got this guilt of saying, well, I just said I don't need to do that, and now I'm not going to. Is there the guilt of like having, because I do have a couple things like, oh yeah, that's my, I want to be able to do this, or I want to do this other thing, and learn piano,
there's a
or
difference
learn ukulele,
Is it a goal? Or is it a weighted pipe dream you carry around in your backpack?
Why not?
Because why not?
Just achievable? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it gets scheduled. It gets it's part of what you go to incorporate it as your New Year's resolution. You start to do a couple of things, right? Like, that's a version of a goal versus a pipe dream. Now, can you put it on a piece of paper and file that away, that when I have the energy, I'll come back to my list of things I might want to do. Yeah. I mean, because guilt means you haven't actually let it go.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And so this isn't easy. I'm not saying letting go is easy.
No, that's a tough thing for me because, especially if you're, I picked up this online guitar class thing that I know I'm going to do. I'm not going to do it anymore, but guess what? That money's still out of my bank account for that guitar class I purchased.
Feels funny. Like the weight of it. And one way to think about
Speaking for somebody else, by the way.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, for a friend. You're asking for a friend.
Totally not me, yeah.
Well, and if you think about like what are we doing to ourselves in these moments where we take on something? Mm-hmm. Is it because we really want it? Because we're supposed to? I mean, the truth is, deep down, if we needed something, we wanted something, if we were going to starve, or we were, that deep need, human need to do something, we'd do it. Right. Yeah. So not to say these aren't good goals or it's fun or, but it creates a weight that you carry around. And so I have a suggestion you could try. Let's say I want to learn the guitar and I'm going to start out this year. I bought this course. It is not working and it's draining me to have this sitting in the back of my head. You give yourself an artificial rule that I don't get to practice the guitar or start up again until November 1st. You just put it in a category of that's when I will, go back to this and think about it again. Mm-hmm. But for the next 6 months, guitar's off the table.
Give your permission,
rather than the pecking of it. Of it. So maybe it doesn't have to be forever, but it can be put somewhere else. Now, you might say, oh, I do that all the time. It's called procrastination. That's not what I'm talking about. This is, I'm not allowed until November 1st to even consider the guitar again. And then you hold yourself to it. And then November comes around and you're like, I don't know if I ever want to do this. I'm not sure. Or,
yeah, that's true. Okay, I've done this with a couple of things. My hardest one is freaking food and the same day. It's like, I'm not going to eat that bag of whatever until 7. Oh, it's 3:00. Why not? Let's just go ahead.
Might as
You
well
know?
just eat that bag of food.
So I know it's a whole different discussion, different topic. But
Maybe the goal just should be don't eat a whole bag of food. Maybe
don't eat your food in bag quantities.
exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Please take it out of a bag.
Yeah. That's a good point.
That's amazing.
All right.
So anyway, going back to the whole gist of like the 80-20 thing, just something to think about. Like, are you trying to do everything? Where are your headaches? What can be let go of? And are you shining your light focus energy on the 20%, like the sweet spot where it's stuff you love and you're good at it and it brings some value. And then you get help with the 80 that gives you headaches. And that's not easy for most of us. Most of us, we don't ask for help. We just have to be successful all by ourselves. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then, I'm always a fan of like, let's just see what success even means to you. Right.
Mm-hmm.
What was the messaging your parents gave you about, are you good enough? Right. Or what is the messaging classmates or teachers, friends, whatever. See, the AI can't get my language disorder, right?
No. I don't know. I think if we train it hard enough, I'll bet I could make it goof up like that. And you'd never know. It wasn't you.
Yeah.
That's what's weird. I don't
gotta
like it.
Ease up on the chipper. I'm not that chipper.
You're not that happy.
Forget it. I don't say soldering iron.
Yeah.
I
had to change it a bunch because it kept pronouncing it soldering, like the way that soldering is spelled.
Yeah.
So I had to misspell it to get it to say it right. So there is one weakness there.
Okay.
Or to say it the way Americans say it. I guess if you're in other places, they do say soldering.
Soldering. Yeah.
Soldering.
Yeah.
Iron.
Wendy's been to Britain a lot, but I don't think she retained much of the accent. So
you just lilt your voice at the end. That's what
That's all
happened
you
after
need?
I lived there a while. But I don't know. Other than my bad habit of someone is speaking in a British accent to me, I try to copy them.
There you go. Well,
It's so
I
embarrassing.
think this is going to be helpful to him because it's already been helpful for me. This gave me some ideas, and I always like Wendy's little homework assignments, but I hadn't thought to break it out into these sort of groups, like the whole things that are good or that you're good at, things that people tell you you're good at, or what value do you bring? I don't ever think about that.
Yeah. No, this had absolutely no effect on what I do at all in my life. But on a totally separate note, does anyone want a Lyft window decal that I can send them?
Yeah. I'm going to get that. I got a deal for you, Brian. We'll talk after the show.
Not related at all.
All right. Well, please let us know, listener. Jay, what was his name? Shoot, I lost his name. JH. Let us know how.
Jim Halpert.
It's Jim Halpert. Shoot, you've doxed him.
Ah.
You've doxed a Hollywood fake character. Dang it.
His podcast is called Bears Beats Battlestar Galactica.
That's
Dang
right.
it! I said.
You did it again.
Oh.
Shoot. Well, anyway, the damage is done. But let us know how things go for you. I'm very, very excited for what maybe this will help you do. So keep us informed. Wendy, I know things are in full swing. I got an email from realsteps.org.
A real email from Real Steps.
Oh, and we should thank everybody real quick. A whole bunch of you donated money to the Max's fund for the what's it called? Scholarship fund.
His scholarship fund. Yes. Cool. So I told you to only send $2, and you guys went overboard. But about $1,000. So thank you. That's
it was really
huge.
nice.
And I'm giving it to her next Sunday, not this Sunday. Let's see what's next Sunday is when my delivery date is. So if you're bored and you want to still add, please, there's some time. But the messages and notes are so sweet, and it's just gonna I
hope it helps
so much to them. So thank you.
You bet. All right, sorry. Real Steps.
But make sure you take video of it and put it on your social media.
Yeah, put it on your social media, and then do a selfie and do the little peace symbol. Do all those things because that's what the world tells you you're supposed to do.
That's right.
Oh, and never age. Don't age. All right, never get old. Just stay young forever. Young and beautiful. That's the rule.
I don't know what you're saying, but it's hurting me. What are you saying?
Just the way
we're creating 80% of her stress right now.
Yeah, 80%. 80%.
All the things I hate, you just listed.
Yeah, I did. That's why I don't like them either. So we're in agreement. Anyway, sorry. Real Steps. You're doing
Real
stuff.
Steps. So sign up. Go to realsteps.org. We start Monday, March 5th. So a little bit of what I talked about today is not exactly what we're doing, but there's some real fun change ups we're going to do about aspects of life that are going to be really helpful, I think. So it's going to be a really fun round. So please join. If you have questions, you can email me at admin@realsteps.org.
Nice.
That starts soon.
Fantastic.
I will email a few more times. I apologize in advance, but this is how you do email marketing.
Advanced apology. I like it. I like.
I need to hire someone else.
You're playing with time travel there. All right. Well, this is good stuff. Wendy, have a fantastic week. Say hi to the kids. Tell Adam to keep sending out great email. He's doing a great job. Speaking of offloading your work, make him do all your web stuff. All right? All of it.
He does my web stuff, but I have to write the stuff. So
now, hey, chatgpt.com might be your
Piece
friend.
of cake.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go
easy.
check that out. You don't even want to know what that is.
I don't trust
You
it.
don't
Okay.
really want to know. All right. We'll see you later. Bye. She really doesn't want to know. I promise.
No, she really doesn't.
Someone in her business, if she if she finds out what ChatGPT could do for people's dissertations and papers and research for psych stuff, she'll lose her mind.
Yeah.
So I'm not even going to tell her.
Nope.
Not gonna
Good
happen.
plan. Don't do it. Do it.
That's it for the show today. There is some stuff coming up later you should be aware of. I believe you are doing a Coverville today. Tell the fine folks.
I am. Yeah, it's coming up at 1 p.m. today. The tribute to Burt Bacharach. And listen, we all know songs like I'll Never Fall in Love Again, Do You Know the Way to San Jose? But then you look at stuff that maybe you didn't realize was him, like Anyone Who Had a Heart and Baby It's You by the Shirelles and what else? Walk On By and like all of these other songs. It's like, oh, there's so much good stuff that he and Hal David wrote together for all these amazing musicians. And a lot of people cover his work. A lot of people love it. I love it. So look for folks like Pomplamoose, Shakespeare's sister, the late, great Terry Hall, Colin Hay from Men at Work, Freddie Johnson, all on today's show.
Very nice. Do check that out. That's today at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. Twitch.tv/Coverville if you want to watch it live.
Yeah.
There's also a brand new... I'll be on DTNS today. It's got switched from Wednesday, so today is that day, and there's some big stuff about the PlayStation VR 2 that we're going to talk about. Kind of some breaking early reviews on what people think of that unit, and somebody from The Verge will be on the show to talk about it. I'm very excited about it. So that'll be today on DTNS. And then later tonight, 5 p.m. Mountain Time, Core will be happening live. Lots to talk about there, including this news about the PSVR 2 and its outrageous price point. But also a bunch of game stuff, including the completely redo. I don't even call it a remaster. It's a remake of the classic Pharaoh City Builder game. Do you remember this game from the late 90s?
Oh, I totally remember that. Interesting.
It's out today, yesterday, and it's great. So
really?
Throwing it out there. Yeah. Can't wait to talk about it tonight. So both John and I played. We're going to talk about that at length tonight. Big Core episode. Check it out. That's tonight at 5 p.m. and wherever you get your podcasts after the fact. And, of course, Film Sack this weekend will happen. I don't remember what we're doing.
We are doing Red Eye.
Oh, right, Red Eye. So I'm actually excited about this. Looking forward to it.
Are you Red Eye to watch Red Eye?
My Red Eye will watch Red Eye, and then I will be Red Eye for the episode. So, anyway, that's this weekend. That'll be fun. Can't wait for that. Patreon.com/TMS is where you can go and support this show, including unlocking that cool Hollywood Squares style game that Brian really wants to unlock all these years later. We've been trying to forever. You guys have never quite hit the crescendo we need.
Yeah,
okay?
make it so that 20% of my time could be spent making that and not lifting.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. Exactly. So help us get there. We'd love to do that one day. But even if all you can do is go over and throw us $1, we'd appreciate it. Patreon.com/TMS is the place to do it. You'll never get ads. You get pre-show content every day, couch parties on the weekend, play dates on the monthly, other great benefits, art in the mail, teas, selection of teas. Pretty sure I'm going to have, I got to talk to Gwen, but I think she'll be here Monday to talk tea.
Cool. Yay.
Yeah. Little Steven, then Gwen that day.
We can hear how she likes the 3D printed minis that I did for her D&D game.
Oh.
Yeah.
Very nice. Anyway, that's all coming up. That's it. We're done. Oh, go to frogpants.com/TMS for all our contact details and everything else. It's all right there. Brian, we need to leave. and my memory is that we can't do it without a song. So is that correct? We have to do that?
You're right. Oh my gosh, your memory is so good. And we got a couple sad tributes that I want to do today. A couple people wrote in. Andrew M. wrote in and said, "Dear Skip and Bales, my dad passed away in 2019 on this day, and I was wondering if you could play a cover of anything Eagles related. My dad would have loved it. Signed, Andrew, aka Demindrin. On the rare occasion I make it to the chat." We also heard from Tyler Rowland, whose mom, Tracy, lost her battle with stomach cancer on Wednesday of this month, just a few days ago. They had a mother-son dance during the wedding back in October to he and his wife, Ray, and to the Backstreet Boys' Perfect Fan. But she had a lot of other musical groups that she liked growing up, and so he told me to pick something from there. Thanks for being my parasocial grieving buddies, Tyler Rowland from Grand Rapids.
Oh, I'm sorry about your dad.
So,
that sucks.
Hearts going out to both of you, Dad, Andrew's dad and Tyler's mom. Consider this song a tribute to both of them. I don't have a cover of that Backstreet Boys song that you guys danced to, but I do have something I think that you'll both enjoy. This is a cover of the Eagles. This was done on Johnny Cash's American 4, The Man Comes Around. Johnny Cash had this way, and we know this from that Nine Inch Nails cover that he did, of making any song that he covered his own. And he does that beautifully with this version right here of the Eagles' Desperado. Here is Johnny Cash.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Frog Pants Network. Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
I'm going to chop you up and make a nutty fruitcake out of you. That's what I'm going to do.
Good Lord, man. Don't be doing that.
Jeez.
A nutty fruitcake. What does that even mean?
Why must you do